Welcome to Stand Up Memories.
I told you to settle down. I heard him say settle down.
Welcome to a mellow version of Stand Up Memories.
That's so much better.
Mellow?
That is so much better.
I am Peter Bales, and this is Jackie the Joke Man Martling, and we have got two terrific comedians as our guests today.
That was not a glitch in your computer or your internet. That was, he stammered. So don't adjust your television.
Did I stammer?
You did a little bit. You said
Jackie
the
Joke
man.
Joke man.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Which is fine. You're no spring chicken. I mean, that's going to happen.
Jackie, the Joke Man.
And we have guests.
Who tells the ultimate stuttering joke.
No, I do not.
Okay. Well, that's a teaser. We have two terrific comedians here. Let me introduce them. We have John LaRocchia, who is a retired New York City firefighter and comedian, and he hosts his own TV show, and we'll talk about that. And we
Say the name of that show.
The show is Laughter Saves Lives Live. And
I would love to hear the names of the show, the names that you rejected before you chose that one.
It was Laughter Saves Lives Live with a stutter. And then it was Laughter Saves Lives, period. And that's about it. We decided on Laughter Saves Lives.
Live.
It should just be Laughter Saves.
Could be Laughter Saves.
Lifesaver,
Could be.
John's sidekick is a very funny comedian and friend of mine, Rich Walker.
Who just happens to be your partner in
Stand Up University. He is my professorial partner in our comedy
40 seconds. It took us 40 seconds to get him to plug his dopey
You
clip.
set me up for it.
40 seconds. Well, I wanted to get it out of the way.
We have a terrific comedy class called
go on.
Stand Up University, and Rich and I teach it, standupuniversity.com. There's the plug. Thank you.
You have to do like what we do. Like in the very beginning of the show, the first thing is we start thanking
Everybody.
our sponsors.
Now,
That's the only way you remember to do it. Yeah.
now listen.
Well, we have no choice. We have our producer Butch that chimes in every 2 seconds to tell us.
We
Go ahead,
have
right?
John LaRocchia here, who has created a foundation, the Laughter Saves Lives Foundation, that works to help.
So it's not the Laughter Saves Lives Live Foundation.
No, it's the Laughter Saves Lives Foundation, not live. And
Recorded.
the purpose is to help the victims of 9/11 and helping people in general. And John, tell us about,
First of all, thanks for having Rich and I on.
Okay.
It's two comedy legends, and Peter Bales here with us today. So Laughter Saves
thank you for
Lives.
coming
Don't
on.
think
Yes.
for a second don't think we weren't pressured into this.
I know, but whatever the reason, thank you.
They do so much good. They
Yeah,
raise
I
money for
know.
charity.
You didn't have
Yeah,
a choice. We saw the
Just so you
ratings.
know, we don't only assist 9/11 victims.
Yes.
We do it in memory of the guys. The guys that were lost, we lost 19 at my house on 9/11. Guys that made me laugh. Funny guys. And after all the sadness and the funerals, I said, what a great way to remember them. I was a comic at the time. Make people laugh in their name. So that's why we started the Laughter Saves Lives Foundation.
I think it's great. I actually
Thank you,
think it's great with all the cynicism and crap that I
Yeah.
hurl around, especially at him. But that's
Let
great.
me chime in for
Congratulations.
I
one
just
second.
think, wait,
Yeah,
let
go
me
ahead.
just say this.
Yeah.
I've never seen Jackie have a moment of sincerity.
That was
And
amazing.
let's celebrate that.
You bought that?
I did.
Listen,
Well, that's all that matters.
you're a longtime comic and a retired New York City firefighter, and your firehouse lost 19 guys.
We lost a third of the people you work with. Picture that. Coming into work the next day and they're gone.
Crazy.
It just, I still can't fathom it, but to be able to do the foundation, make people laugh.
I mean, and that's times all the fire departments. 19 of your
firehouses.
guys.
Right.
All right.
You're hearing it from one person.
Yeah, we lost in our house alone, 45 kids lost a dad in our house alone.
Okay.
That's crazy.
It's hard to wrap your brain around that, but
It is.
I think it's a very
Still.
creative and healthy thing to help those who are moving on in their memory.
Right.
And that's what you do. And you put on comedy shows all around the area, not only Long Island, but around the country.
Yeah.
To raise money and
He doesn't ask us to be in these shows.
Well, I've been in those shows.
Yeah.
But there's a there's
You're
a
kind of
quality.
What am I,
out.
wood?
No, not
You
Jackie.
priced yourself
You
out.
know, it's a
Three
fa-
is too much?
Hey, Jackie.
that's nice.
Yeah, it's a foundation, and we're trying to raise money, and you know the kind of money Peter will work for.
I
So-
don't even work for money. If I get a cheeseburger and fries, I'm in. But these are terrific shows. You should do
Yeah, on
one.
the, way to
absolutely.
on the way to the show, he'll put in $5 worth of gas and give you the change.
They were crazy.
We'd love to have you on the show, definitely. We're doing a
Oh, we
bunch
came
coming
and
up.
did your podcast. We had fun,
Yes,
right?
we had fun.
Yeah, we had fun. We did your podcast, Laughter Saves Lives, live. And it was a lot of fun, and thank you for coming on. Now, you guys are both...
So I guess you want to hear my fireman joke.
Yes,
Well, we'd love to hear the
of course.
fireman joke.
The guy's sitting at the bar having a drink, and the fire whistle blows. And the guy wolfs down his drink and jumps up. And the bartender says, I didn't know you were a fireman. He says, I'm not, but my girlfriend's husband is.
You know what my first comedy set was?
That's nasty.
My first comedy set, Chuck.
Okay.
What was the one on Jericho?
Chuckles.
Jericho.
Chuckles.
Chuckles. I was taking a class in the city. Final was at Dangerfields, like you guys do.
He took a comedy class,
Yep.
and Chuckles is a...
Wait,
an
at
ex-
that time, who
No.
would have been teaching?
No, I didn't take it at Chuckles. I was taking it in Manhattan.
in Manhattan.
And I said, let me get up in Chuckles before my first time.
Right.
Not with,
Who?
What?
what's his name?
Chuck-
DW?
No.
D.F. Sweedler.
No. So I got up there and I was a nervous wreck and I had a piece of paper in my hand, and I copped out. This is my first time on stage, and I'm bombing a miserable death. Horrible. Wow. And you remember the fire station was right next door.
Yep.
Yeah.
The alarm goes off in the fire station, and I go, I'd love to finish, I gotta go. And I get a laugh, and I ran off the stage.
That-
That was
that's
my first
smart.
How
laugh.
did you arrange that?
I did not, but thank God, because I probably never would have did stand up
It's
again.
You know what it is?
I'm not going to say Saved by the Bell.
The fire department next door smelled the smoke
Right.
burning on stage, and they set off the alarm.
Everybody has
They
a...
mercifully,
Everybody
They
has
were
a...
helping a brother.
maybe somebody in the audience,
I hope so.
Everybody has a
happy.
first time on
Is that a true
Yeah,
story?
stage.
That's a true story.
That is a great story.
That's a true
it's
story.
great
It's
story.
like every bombing story, it's
I
horribly
got a bombing story.
wonderful.
Yeah.
I know it's going to be hard to believe.
No, it's
Go
not
ahead.
hard to believe, and you have many bombing stories.
Yes.
But share us this one.
This is one I
I hate
did.
to say this out loud as long as we're on a roll, but every time I've seen him at your stupid course,
Yeah.
he's killed every time. I've
Well,
never heard a
it
bad
happens.
line. I never heard a bad
It happens
line from
Wow.
only
Of course.
on...
Even a clock is
Of
right
course.
twice a day.
Yeah, of course, following you.
I'd like to
takes
go to that
some of
show.
the-
Yeah, we're gonna.
So what? Tell us your bombing story.
So this is back in the early days when we had Deepdale Community Center. Remember that? It was poolside.
Yes.
It was about 200 people outside. Hot as it was like 1,000 degrees. I'm on stage. I'm sweating, and I wasn't doing well. And I remember looking in the front row, and in slow motion, the wife turns to the husband right in front of me and goes, "He's bombing."
That's so great.
That's what I remember,
I got another great bombing story if you want to hear
I'm
it.
sure.
Go ahead.
Nita Stein's restaurant, Middle Village, Queens.
Good.
My dad owned the luncheonette in Middle Village. These people, you doing stand-up now? Because I was DJing at the time. Every fireman does something on the side, right? Firefighter. So he goes, come and do my show for all my best customers. I get there. It's a bunch of old men drinking for 3 hours. They haven't ate yet, right? So he goes, you're on next, John. You're on. And I'm nervous. This is my first paid gig, $20, whatever it was. So I'm in the back room, and here's what I hear. All right, guys, before we bring out our strippers. And I go, what did he just say?
that
We
is-
have a comic. So I walk out. They want no piece of me, right? I'm up there bombing, and a guy comes walking right at me to the bars behind me, and he leans into the mic, and he goes, you suck. And a tear came down, and I ran out of there without my money. I'm never doing this again, I said.
I did a show real quick once, and I was doing so bad, a guy in the back row goes, "You got this, bro." That's bad.
Hang in
Well, I've
there.
told the story a million times because we were last night. I went out to eat with my family, but it was pretty sparse at the place Teddy's. I used to be in Canterbury in Oyster Bay.
Yeah.
And we're in the back, and way in the front, there's a guy playing the guitar, playing a few folk songs, and there's nobody in there, and it just held me back. There was a place called the Hungry Bear in Huntington, and it was Christmas. It was like 3 or 4 days before Christmas. The place is empty, and I'm sitting. It's one of those long, one storefront bars, and the bars along the way. And I'm in the back, and I'm up on my chair with my amplifier, my guitar, and I'm telling playing a song and telling a dirty joke. I'm playing a song and telling. It's like 2 or 3 people, very sporadic.
Yeah.
And it was a Scottish bartender, and he was all the way at the end of the bar. And I, of course, delivered the perfect response to his joke. And I'm up there, and the guy goes, "Jack, they want you outside." And I said, "Who?" He said, "Everybody." You couldn't have written it for a movie.
Oh, that's great.
Oh, talk about getting
that's
your
great.
legs cut off. But it was so horrible. But what a great story.
Yeah, it's
But I wish it wasn't true. It
Right.
absolutely,
Did you ever bomb off stage, or you did so bad that somebody comments in the lobby? There was a girl. This is Chuckles.
Like to
believe it or
you, or you over here?
To me. No, she's right to my face. So I've doing comedy 3 years. I remember 3 years.
You know what? Has that ever happened? I don't think anybody's ever come up and said you suck.
No. Well, here's what she said. It was indirect. And gorgeous girl I went to high school with. Now it's after high school. I'm like, I'm doing comedy now. And she comes over. She goes, "So how long have you been doing this?" I said, "I've been doing it now 3 years." And she goes, "You'll find something."
That's
Because I've said this on the show before. When comedians get together, 99% of the time it goes great. But we laugh at the times when it's tough, when it goes wrong, when you have these crazy bombing stories. I was actually hired to perform on an airplane. There was this little airline starting up a flight from Newark to New Haven.
Okay.
A propeller plane with about 20
What is
seats.
that, an 11-minute flight?
Yes, but they wanted publicity, so they hired me to be a comic. And as soon as we take off, I stand in the aisle. And I'm supposed to entertain the passengers who were sitting on this short flight. And as soon as I stood up and I said, "Hello, ladies and gentlemen," the pilot comes on and goes, "I just put the seatbelt sign on. Everyone take your seat." So I had to sit down and lean into the aisle with the microphone like this, talking back to them. Didn't get any laughs.
Why
at
have
all.
you saved that story for 3 seasons?
Maybe because it was so traumatizing. I was only ready to tell it now.
Did you
A
ever
guy
tell them the
came-
King Tut exhibit? Was
Oh
that
yeah,
done?
I was hired back in the day when I was
Listen.
first starting out. The King Tut exhibit came to New York City.
I remember.
And we were hired.
That
with
was a huge deal.
Yeah,
Yes.
and there was a line around the Met, and they hired comics to stand there and entertain people on the line. But the thing was, the line moved.
Right.
And so you would do the setup to your joke, and they'd move on, not hear the punchline, and then the next
like
group would hear the
Westbury
punchline.
Music Fair.
You know,
That's right,
It made no sense.
You know, I'm sure you guys have
whatsoever.
stories of something that happened in the audience that added to your punchline where you could have closed the show right there. It's not something I was doing a show at a military base in Jersey. It's where they make ammo. It's not really a base, they make ammo. And we start the show, and there's a door in the back of the cafeteria that says, "Do not enter." So I kept saying, "What's going on behind that door? I think it's a radiation deal." And they're not telling us, and who's going to look in the cafeteria? It's probably top secret, right? So then I started talking about they're bringing out no dessert. Where's the dessert? They're bringing out no dessert. And then all of a sudden those doors open, and they must have been setting up for another party, and they wheel out these huge tables. And I go, "Oh my God, it is an experiment. Look at the size of those cookies," right? And the place went crazy, and I went, "Good night." I had no desire to close. I go, "Good night, everybody."
I'm not topping the cookies.
People are coming up to me and go, "That was perfect. How did you set that up?" Just sometimes you're lucky.
It's so fun when just something that wacky.
Yeah.
You know, heckles are always great, right? So I'm killing at Rascals South in New Jersey, but the Stern audience, they were loud and drunk, and they loved me, but their version of loving you. And there was a table full of 8 or 10 guys, and they were loud. They were loving it, but they were loud. And this one guy was especially annoying. But it's so hard to tell a heckler. You got to pick your spots. Like stop them
Right.
once and
You
wait
wanna
a
be
few
a bully,
times.
yeah.
And finally, this guy, I had told him to shut up a couple times, and I looked, and he was wearing a Rangers jersey. And I said, "You! Out in the hall, 15-minute penalty."
That was funny.
And they came and got him and took him out in the hall. And after 15 minutes, and let him back in, and he shut up. It was
That's
it was
hysterical.
the
They
most
took it
creative
literally.
heckle thing.
Yeah.
You know,
I did a show. It was
it's a miracle he didn't come up and punch me in the balls. You know,
You got
Coulda happened
lucky,
too,
Or
yeah.
hit you with a hockey stick.
right.
I did a show in Massapequa. It was 55 and older. Right in the middle, guy kills, the chair goes over, has a heart attack. And I was there. I was the closest one. It was like right there. And his head is on like the hard concrete kind of floor. He turns white as a ghost. And I'm trying to keep his head off the floor. And his body starts to go like this. His defibrillator kicked in. And he came to. I said, "Sir, it looks like you had a heart attack. Help is on his way." They caught him. They, cart him off. The ambulance comes. No kidding. Split second. As soon as the door closes, they're like, "Come on, start the show already." This is all the people. They could care less that the guy had the heart attack.
So you didn't get to give him mouth to mouth.
No, thank God. Thanks for saving that bit.
No. That's stuff like people. They just don't care. And
Some people don't. I did a show in Jersey in that deli. Remember that deli that was doing shows somewhere? They were supposed to be like Cats in Manhattan. They had, in fact, one of the guys there was
like
from
pastrami and jokes or
yeah,
something
it was
like
great.
that.
It was great.
this was years ago.
Yeah.
10 years ago, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm doing the
remember who
show
booked that.
and I'm done, and I had a good set. So I'm like, I really should leave. I should get home, And somebody comes up and says, "Oh, you were great," and then you're like, "Oh, maybe I'll stick around a little bit."
Yeah.
And people are coming, "Oh, you were great. That was great." And I'm like, "Oh, thank you." And then somebody falls on the floor and under the table and is unconscious, right? So the first thing you do as a responder is making sure somebody's calling 911. Everybody wants to help. So I looked at the bartender, you go, "Call 911. All right, now I'm down there working on this guy, right?" And I'm like, because I was trained, but I didn't do a lot of EMS type work. So I'm, shaking, but I'm trying to help this guy. And he pops up. And I go, "Bro, what's wrong with you?" And he goes, "Sometimes if I stand up too fast, I pass out."
You feel faint.
Yeah. So I go, "Do me a favor. Sit in this chair. I'm leaving. Don't stand up until I'm out the door." He goes, "All right." And the ambulance came in. Boom, I took off.
I gotta
sit
tell
there.
you, every comedian has stories like, I was flashed. This might have been the highlight of my stand-up.
You were
career.
flashed?
Flashed
Wow.
by a woman in the front, the very front at Catch a Rising Star in Manhattan.
Very nice.
And turned this way towards the stage. I'm there.
Nobody
Her
else saw it?
boyfriend's right behind her.
Okay.
He didn't even notice it. She went like this to
Hello.
me, flashed herself, dropped it down, full house. I saw it. She saw it. We're the only two who knew it. And I think about that every night as I'm trying to
I
fall
know.
asleep.
I'm going to
bet
think
you
about
did.
it.
I do.
Why did you save that till the third?
Well, because again, it's just
That's a third season story.
that is a third
a
season.
white
Now,
broad?
Actually, it was kind of an overweight guy. I changed the story. Now, Rich has a lesson. Now, a lot of comedians watch this podcast, and you always have to know the crowd that you're performing before. Otherwise, you can get in trouble. And
Right.
Rich and I were booked to perform at a benefit for parents of.
No, well,
Go
I was
ahead.
So I get there late, and I got to run up on stage. And like, "Rich Walker," I go up. I didn't realize what the benefit was for, and I did a whole. Back then, it was acceptable, a Rain Man bit about Rain Man getting into a bar fight, and they locked up. Everybody locked up. And as soon as I get off, this is the story, right?
Yeah.
Everybody comes running over. This is for parents with autistic children. I'm like, "Oh my God!"
You
I
got
start
it.
sweating. But we walk into those. You don't
To
know.
this day,
and-
every time somebody says, "Well, this is John, he's retired," I always said, "Not retarded, he's just slow." But I've had to button
Yeah.
that up for so long.
Yeah.
Jackie, you've been around a long time. If you're doing a guest spot somewhere, because this happened to me in Manhattan, I'm not going to say the comic's name, famous comic, but do you ask what the benefit is for?
Good story.
Is that something
I
you would
don't-
do?
I don't show up at those things and do them, but if I
If
don't,
you did.
but of course you'd want to
Yeah.
know, what to stay away. Who knows?
Comedy is a great means to raise money. So
Yes.
Let's
Right.
tie this up. I
But
mean,
you can't. No, you could have an audience of 300 people, and there could be 40 people there. from the Hip Association of America, and you don't know that. You know, hey,
Yeah.
where you guys from? You know,
Right,
like-
right.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, every comedian has said the wrong thing, and you've really made a career of
saying the wrong thing. Can I say one thing? We're not insensitive. It just was
It
acceptable
was a mistake
at the time.
Yeah,
you know.
and sometimes we make mistakes. No,
Yeah.
you're right. You're
The
absolutely
closer you
right.
dance on any edge, the funnier it gets. That's
Right,
just,
the comedy
that's
goes.
human
Comedy's
nature.
on the line, and you don't want to go over the
Right.
line. But the best comedy is right up on the line.
Right.
Absolutely true.
You know, this has been so long, like 40 years, that I don't know if it happened to me or maybe the story was told to me. For some reason, Frankie Pace is in the back of my
Oh,
mind,
yeah.
but I think it was me because I remember how poorly I was doing. It was a cops convention at the Granite Hotel in the Catskills. The only time I ever worked the Granite, and I'm bombing, and I look down, and in the whole audience, just like 4 women, obviously hookers. And I look down, and a guy sitting ringside, the girl next to him is going down. And I'm like,
What?
It's like, but it couldn't throw you because I was doing so bad.
Yeah.
But it was like, you know, well, at least he's enjoying the show. You know, like,
Yeah.
my God.
Wow.
And how does that, how do you do that? How do you do that?
I see Peter's discomfort.
No. Take the children
No,
out.
that's jealousy.
out-
That's jealousy.
Stuff happens when you're a comedian.
Yeah.
Anyway, you guys have been Rich Walker and John LaRochhia and terrific. Very funny.
We call
comedians.
this in the business the hook.
This is
Yes.
the hook.
I'm used to the hook.
And
I thought you guys were doing great.
We appreciate it. We appreciate
now,
it.
That's better than we normally
the
get. We'll
Laughter
take it.
Saves Lives Foundation sponsors comedy shows. Let's just say all over the place, not only Long
Yes.
Island. But the country.
LaughterSavesLives.org.
.org. Okay, LaughterSavesLives.org.
I will go
Terrific.
on the record to say I would love to do whatever I can sometime coming.
Love
We'd love to have you.
And that goes for me too. And support the Laughter Saves Lives Foundation and catch their television show. Where do they find your television show? It is Laughter Saves Lives
Live Wednesday nights, 8 o'clock. YouTube, Facebook, Strong Island Television.
All right.
Look at that.
And
Maybe if we get lucky, they'll invite us back.
we would
Oh,
love,
yeah,
we would
we'd
love
love
that.
to have you
We would
back.
love
Love
that.
to have you.
So Jackie, let's thank our guests. John LaRochhia, and you brought your father, John LaRochhia Sr.
His father told me a
honorable.
joke.
I'm saluting you, sir,
Veteran.
as a veteran and a wonderful 89-year-old man.
He told
Thank
me a
you for your
joke I
service.
didn't know,
And
and you didn't know it either.
I didn't know it either. He stumped Jackie the Joke Man, which is impossible to do.
He was driving along in Pennsylvania, and a huge rabbit ran across the road in front of him. He missed him by a hair. Which is the worst joke I've ever seen. I know. Well,
Yeah, he told it again.
TV worthy.
Yes.
That's my job. That's my
Hey,
job.
hey, Jackie.
I salute you as a veteran. I do
Thank
salute you for that joke because I'm sure I'm going to tell that joke. But you can't tell it to too young a kid because the kid has to be old enough that a rabbit is a hare.
Hair.
Right, you have to
Right.
put a hair as a rabbit. So, Rich Walker, John LaRochhia, thank you very much.
Thank you.
guys.
Thank
I
you.
am Peter
You
Bales.
got
This
it.
is Jackie the Joke Man Martling. This has been Stand Up Memories, and we will see you next time.
Maybe.
We will.
That was a pretty good episode.
A new episode every Wednesday with me, Peter Bales, Jackie the Joke Man Martling, comedians, interesting people. Leave a comment. We'll get. What am I saying?
I don't know.
We're gonna get back to you. We will respond to your comment.
StandUpMemories.com, if you go there, it shows all the different
All
platforms.
Spotify. We're on everything.
Every Wednesday.
Stand Up Memories.
Every Wednesday.
A new episode.